However, said it before, and I've said it again. I said it when we sacked. Remember me saying this to you with Ollie? If we sack Ollie, I guarantee you in 18 months, 2 years, we will be back here again. And by the way, everybody advocated bringing in Ten Hag, including me. They said it was a proper manager. And I guarantee you, Ten Hag leaves Man United, goes somewhere else and delivers. Like most of our players that leave. I really do believe he'll go and do that.
Maybe he will, but again, the pressure at Man United, no disrespect to Ajax, because I had a look at Ajax's income earlier, the revenue, The money you've given Ajax, I know you don't give them it in lump sum for the 2 players you've signed from there, is literally 40 million less than their annual income. So you've basically kept Ajax afloat. Not that they need to be afloat, but you've kept them afloat for another 1 year pretty much, 9 months of the year. The next year, I know it's in installments to payments, but the money you've given them, and that's why the pressure at Ajax is different to the pressure at Man United. You're going into a Man United team that has expectations to rise back to greatness. Ajax, cool, I know they win stuff and there's pressure to keep winning, but it's a different pressure, Terry. Yeah,
but, I agree. I do agree with that.
I'll tell you why. Well, I'll tell you why it's a different pressure. You haven't won anything for so long. Fair enough, he won you a trophy last season. Well done to him. Yeah, but a lot of your fans were like, yes, great trophy, whatever. But now we need to kick on and try and compete for the title. Yeah, we need to go and compete for the Champions League. Then all you've done as a football club, and I know it comes back to the owners originally. Yeah, I get that. But the owners ain't picking certain players every week when they're playing trash. The owners ain't saying, don't press anybody, let Brighton pass through you. Not around you, through you.
Completely agree.
So this is what I'm saying. My point is, you can say, well, this player could be trash and he could be trash and he could be trash. That could be the case. No, it is the case. Because I'll tell you now, right? I'll tell you right now, if you went out there and got Ancelotti, for example, do you think you would have got spanked at the weekend? Do you think you'd be sitting with 3 losses in 5? Do you think that you wouldn't have any style of play that I can see at all? And I'm not even a Man United fan. Every time I watch Man U, I think, what are they trying to do here?
Lee, great question. And the reason that I say, yes, I do believe we'd be in the same position. And I think Ancelotti is amazing, by the way. And I still think he's got so much to offer football. We've had LVGs and Jose Mourinho's here who also took spankings. Now, none as big as what Ten Hag took from Liverpool last year. But I remember Jose getting spanked up by Chelsea and being 3 or 4-0 down in the opening 10, 15 minutes as an example. I remember him getting beat inexplicably by teams like Watford. We have been talking about style of play of Man United under LVG and Jose, who at the time we hired them were 2 of the most prominent, decorated and respected managers in the game. Again, everything you just said there about what happened at the weekend, I agree with. And I put that on Ten Hag. And I'm open to the idea of any Man United player being sacked and any Man United player being sold, if I believe that action is going to improve the club, because my only focus here is Man United being better. That is all I care about. I am not emotionally attached to the manager. And people have done this to me with every manager. Every time there's been a managerial sacking or the talk of it happening, I'm always accused of defending the manager. And I said the same thing each time. I've offered to pay people's mortgages if they can debunk me, but they can't. I'm not here defending Ten Hag. I'm defending the position of manager and protecting the standards of Manchester United. And we cannot have standards until we start to behave properly at the highest level. So if we're going to review individual games, you're right. The press and the press triggers were off. Changing formation, in the end, turned out to be a catastrophic mistake because it took our width away. And that was where we were exploited.
Yeah,
he should have made changes.
Right there. Sorry to cut you off.
Go on.
Playing a diamond against a team that everyone's hyped up their left winger, right? You're playing so narrow, and they've got one of the best left wingers.
Again, we agree on that, Lee. I think that was wrong.
Why would you do that?
Again, that's a mistake. Again, Lee. So this is the point I'm trying to get to. Everything you have said about what we did wrong, what the manager did wrong, I agree with. I'm not disagreeing with any of it. That's about the game. But the problem is with Man United, when we talk about the manager struggling, it always, whether it's Sky Sports, TalkSport, TNT, YouTube, Twitter, it gets into, I don't think he's good enough, which is what you have said. So suddenly we go away from talking about the game and what we could do to improve, because your conclusion is the manager isn't good enough. Therefore, if you don't think a manager is good enough, they should be sacked, right? I don't want to put words in your mouth. So then we get into another conversation. I hear that, But with how we're run, I don't think that improves us. So I don't even want to think about it because all it means is more money.
Why didn't you want to keep Ollie then?
But I did. I said about Ollie. No. Listen. No. It's not a wow. It's basically what you said. I said at the time, I don't see the point of sacking Ollie because I don't think in the medium to long term we'll get better. Look where I was bang on right.
I asked you a question then, right? Because
you said completely rightly.
You said it's on the Glazers and this and that. No, fair enough. You said it's on the Glazers. Listen, they're the owner of the club. They hire and fire, or they hire people to hire and fire, right? But you're saying, would it improve? It'll improve if the next manager, can get a tune out of the crap that's there now, and then add his own stamp on it, which he'll need a season. I've always said a season. The next season, you better deliver. Right? Since Erik Ten Hag's got there, he delivered straight away with the trophy. But he's had everything he's wanted, Terry, from the ownership. He's got rid of Ronaldo. No, he's got rid of Ronaldo. He's got rid of David De Gea. Yeah, he's got rid of every player that he's gone out of the club. Fred. Who else is left? He's got Mason Mount in. He wanted Mason Mount. He signed Malacia. He signed Lissandro. He signed Anthony. Yeah, he signed Amrabat. Yeah, look at the names of the players and go and have a look where they played. They've all played in Holland, or him, or both. So on that basis alone, you can't say that they're not his signings.
Okay, so I'm not
bad now is because of his decision making.
Again, I understand that. So again, but let's be fair with the analysis. He didn't get everybody he wanted because he didn't get Frankie de Jong. He didn't get
there.
Okay, but he didn't get everything he wanted because he wanted Frankie de Jong. He wanted Kim Min-jae this summer, and he wanted Harry Kane, and the club couldn't get those deals delivered. He also wanted the likes of McTominay and Maguire out of the football club, and the club couldn't find Donny van der Beek, Anthony Martial. The club couldn't find buyers for them. So and that's where the issue lies. I'm not stating that he's not been given anything he wanted. That's any Man United fan saying that's a liar. But this notion that he's had everything go his way, got everything he wanted as quickly as he wanted since he's been there is disingenuous. And this is why, like I said, if we're talking about what improves us going forward, I understand the notion of sacking a manager. But what will happen to the next guy is he'll come in. By the way, I don't trust the club to continue with whatever it is that Ten Hag is trying to build stylistically. I believe they may go in a completely new direction, which means you start from rebuild day one again. And I believe in 18 months, no matter how good the football looks, or no matter what we win year one, I believe we'll be in a situation where he's had some of the players he wanted, will definitely fail at signing others, and there will still be players here from the LVG and Jose era and the Ollie era who he doesn't want to use, who become problems in the dressing room because they're on huge money that we can't get rid of because of previous legacy problems, and the cycle goes on and goes on and goes on. And
I'll tell you this all the time, you can get rid of them.
But the club don't get rid of them. Again, I agree with you, we can. But the club choose not. And this is where me and you sometimes butt heads, and I don't want to. You're right. We could turn around and just pay off Maguire's contract.
I don't even mean that, Terry. I don't even mean that. Let's take Harry Maguire, for example.
Right.
Quite clear he doesn't want the guy. He does not want him at that football club. So why do you publicly sit there last week and you said to me, Ten Hag's not a liar? Yeah, you said that to me last week when I mentioned the same thing I'm about to mention now. He's not a liar. Well, the week before, sorry. Since then, he's come out publicly again and said, Harry Maguire, after the whole England thing, Harry Maguire is a great player. So if he's not lying, does he actually believe that then?
So again, this is when me and you argue over, is he a liar? We both know he isn't telling the complete truth about how he feels.
He's part of the reason Harry Maguire's there then.
Okay, but no, he isn't. No, again, we have to just agree to disagree on this instead of debating the same thing every week. He has told Maguire you're going to be fourth to fifth choice. All he did in the circumstance there was not throw up. Hang on, let me finish. What he did in that circumstance was not throw a player under the bus by saying, I agree that he should be getting booed by the England fans. He just said nice things about, he just said, yeah, I know you don't like it, but that is what he did in that circumstance. At the end of the day, what we go back to the original point instead of getting sidetracked. I agree the manager's made mistakes. I agree the manager deserves criticism. I'm even on board with people saying sack him and listening to their reasons. I'm not sat here and said anything you've said is wrong, have I? I'm simply stating that this notion that he's had everything he wanted and there should be no reason why we're struggling at this point. The reason I say that's cap is because what's happening now to Ten Hag, some of it's his fault, but it's happened 6 previous times to 6 previous managers and with the same people. And listen, people in the comments are saying they own the club, they don't run it. No, look at the board who make the decisions. The majority of the percentage of the decision makers are Glazers. And the people they employ, the Richard Arnolds of this world, have been friends and close to the Glazers for decades, even before they owned Manchester United. So do your research before you speak about my football club. And if you're a Man United fan talking on the subject, do your research before you embarrass us as fans by speaking out of turn. I agree the manager deserves criticism. I criticized Rashford at the weekend. I criticized multiple players. But I am not delusional enough to think that we're going to get it 7-time lucky by picking the right manager and suddenly doing the right things. We won't get medium to long-term sustainable change, growth, and improvement until the ownership is gone. So I'm all for criticizing the manager. I just can't buy this notion that sack him and we get better. I think it's nonsense.
Well, listen, we'll agree to disagree on that, but you can get rid of players. Yeah, you're saying like there's a lot of players. Oh, but we tried to get rid of this player. We tried to get rid of that player. And you know, if the club couldn't sell him, what, we're supposed to just rip everyone's contracts up? Well, hello, we've ripped 11 up.
Okay, so let me ask contracts again. So can I ask you a question then? So if the Glazers say, if Ten Hag walks into a room, and other than saying, well, he should quit then, because I understand that response, outside of him quitting, by the way, wouldn't solve the problem of getting rid of these players. If the Glazers say we're not paying the contracts off in lump sums, how can the manager influence that, in your opinion?
Stick him in the reserves and make him leave himself. Yeah.
Slow down, because I want to count it straight away. So he does this to Sancho, and now he's called a bully and nasty. So this is what happens at Man United. That action is followed out on a particular player.
Two totally different scenarios, because he's publicly called Sancho out, whereas he publicly kisses Harry Maguire. Like,
but why is that? Why is that though? Why is that though?
Well, we don't know the ins and outs, do we? Because we're not there, Terry. We can see the snippets coming out. But
so again, so we don't know the ins and outs. We're going to judge it, Lee. But again, how? But you haven't told me how. So again, so you stick the player in the reserves, but he's still on 350 grand a week.
Yeah, cool.
If he still refuses, okay. So let me ask a question.
I'm talking about Harry Maguire.
Okay, Maguire. Then you stick him in the reserves. He's on 250 grand a week.
190.
If he still said, okay, 190 then. If he's on 190 grand a week, and no club's willing to pay him that, how? And he's like, fine, I'll sit in the reserves. I'm still getting my 190. Okay. How has that got him out the club? You're still paying him the money. He's still in your wage bill.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, he's 30 years old. He's going to want to play for England in the Euros and potentially the next World Cup. Right? 100 grand a week he was offered at West Ham, apparently. Yeah, there's loads of reports out there saying that this is factually what happened, and he was going to leave the club, but he didn't want to take a pay cut. He asked Man United to pay the other 90, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. They said no. They said no, United. Cool. So at that point, you go, right, you're going to play with the under-21s. You're not in my Premier League squad, and you will never play for Man United again. And now he has a decision to make. He either sits and plays with the under-21s every week, never plays for Man United first team ever again, or he goes, do you know what? Yeah, I don't really need all of that backlash of not taking a pay cut to leave, because we know that we've got the media lovies out there that all support him anyway, and he's going to get loads more backlash by sitting in the under-21s. He would have gone to West Ham. He would have gone to West Ham. But Ten Hag, every press conference,
and that's fair, and that's a fair bit of analysis. So of all the players he wants to get rid of, he should sit them all into the reserves. That's what he should do, all of them.
Well, it worked with Jose, didn't it? Because you got rid of Victor Valdez, and you got rid of Schweinsteiger by putting them in the reserves.
So it works. So it works for Jose. Did it work again? What we're talking in medium to long term success.
They left the club.
Hang on, let me finish my question. So when it comes down to what you say football's about, medium to long-term success, Jose doing things the way he did it lead to medium to long-term success for Man United? Yes or no?
Well, he got sacked.
Again, yes.
Winning 2 trophies.
So again, but answer my question, Lee. You quote Jose's methods as being the correct thing to do. Did it lead to long-term success, squad harmony, growth, and winning titles? But Lee. Sorry, bro. But we are. So this is the thing. I'm asking you.
No, I said if you want to play around.
Lee, hang on, Lee. We are talking about the long-term success of the club, because the debate is around, does sacking Ten Hag, bringing in a new manager, make Man United better? We're now talking. You're saying yes, it does. So we're talking about all the components that could get him sacked. Hang on. Yeah, of course it does. Yeah, but you're saying it could work. I'm saying I don't think it will until the fundamentals at the club change. We're getting into one of the fundamentals, which is getting rid of players. You give an example of how to do it, based on a manager who was sacked, and the actions of him did not create that medium to long-term success that I am seeking as a Manchester United fan. So again, what I don't want my club to do, but it is what we're talking. Lee, if you let me finish, Lee, if you let me finish, you'll see that's what I'm talking about. This isn't, for me, this isn't just as simple as sacking a manager or selling a player. It isn't. It never has been. Man United have deeper rooted issues. And I understand where you're coming from. But that in isolation isn't the only thing that's needed. And I wouldn't even mind that being a course of action. But unless our owners sign off on these things, it isn't going to get done. Now, I want to go to somebody's super chat.